face of the franchise is finally with us tonight, Mr. Jake Podger joining us. It's been a while, Jake, since you've made the start of a show, but what better timing? Big win. Hey,
Hey, Mike, let me tell you something right
let's
now.
go. Yes, sir.
I was called Josh Allen 2 times this weekend, okay?
Woo.
In Ohio. I was
In
visiting
Ohio.
my boy Colin. I want to give him a shout out. We were sitting at a McDonald's, okay? In the middle of nowhere in Ohio. Some guy walks up to me and I'm wearing this exact attire.
Yeah.
And he's like, Josh Allen? And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, no, I'm not Josh Allen. But he did subscribe to our channel. So I promised him I'd give him a shout out. I forget what his name was. I apologize. But it was incredible. I almost did sign an autograph. Burp started getting to me.
He couldn't tell you weren't
then,
6'5"?
Well, yeah. Then I stood up. He's like, all right, this guy's a little short. But then a few minutes later, there's a little kid and his mom. They're eating inside this McDonald's. And the kid comes up to me. He goes, excuse me, mister. I'm like, how you doing, buddy? He's like, are you Josh Allen?
Oh,
like, man, you were making my head explode. Unbelievable. I looked over to my wife. I didn't want to look over because I knew her eyes were rolled into the back of her head, but it was incredible. What a moment. What a moment. And here we are. McDonald's 2 days ago and a Monday Night Football victory.
You could have made that little kid's dream come true. Just played it out. Yes, I'm Josh. He would have never known. And you signed his autograph. It would have unbelievable. Well, you do look like Josh Allen, and Josh Allen showed up tonight for sure. I mean, I'm going to throw it to you, Jake, because this is the first time you've been on the show to start it. Talk to me. Kick us off. Beautiful win.
Yeah, a lot of heart palpitations. There's a reason why I poured this as much as I did. I mean, it's pretty typical of me to do so, but especially tonight, I needed it after that. Let me tell you, it was first half, obviously 20-10. We're going to head into halftime. Nice 10-point lead. Not so fast. 8 seconds, a little too much time to give A-Rod. And, of course, they pull up the Hail Mary highlights from his previous games, and then he goes and does just that. And I was just very frustrated by it because not only has this happened before under the Sean McDermott regime in a very critical moment, but it also just was so dumb. It's like we're protecting the sidelines. That was his excuse. And I understand that. Obviously, you don't want to allow a field goal to happen, but you still have to be ready for the Hail Mary. I think they were. They made the adjustment, but just knock the ball down. I mean, there is one guy in a sea of 5 hands. And credit to Allen Lazard, credit to A-Rod, because I'll tell you what, first of all, Aaron Rodgers balled out tonight. This dude looked about 5 years younger. He was slinging it. He was doing things that he used to do. I mean, very, very small little moments of error, or whatever the word is, room for error with some of his throws. And, man, it was crazy. But, yeah, heart palpitations. I mean, this game was very close, and I don't know if I've never seen so much laundry on the field in my entire life. I mean, it was just flag after flag after flag. So definitely frustrating, but also exciting.
Yeah, it was crazy. And talk about, so first of all, the broadcast, right before the Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary, they're playing all his, like, he's the best at this. They're showing the replays of his Hail Marys of the past. And you're thinking to yourself, as a Bills fan, I'm thinking, oh my God, they're putting it out there. It's going to happen. My biggest problem with the Hail Mary was they only rushed 2. Like, he had all the time in the world to just set up. All the receivers had time to go get to where they needed to. You're rushing 2. I mean, rush 4, drop 7. And I mean, there was only like 4 guys around the ball anyway. But my goodness, thank God, like you said, Jake, we're going out. I'm thinking we're going into halftime, 10 points up. We get the ball back in halftime. We're going to go score again and just run away with this game. But it didn't happen. Of course, that's just what happens to us. I mean, NFL scripted, of course, you hear those type of things. They wanted this game to be close, and they made it close with all the flags that were thrown. But Sean, my goodness, that O-line showed up beautifully tonight. They dominated and put all the naysayers to bed, I think. So talk to me, man.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing they do every week. But again, it's the misconception that when they bring free blitzers and Josh runs out of the pocket early, it's because the O-line's not doing their job. That's why I do these videos. That's why I put hours of time into, again, I'm not an expert, but it really puts it into perspective, and you guys can attest to that. You're not just saying it because you're my friends. You can tell when you look at each play what really is their fault and what isn't. And again, they just complete bully ball. And this is when I was trying to say when we lost the Ravens game, people tried saying that we aren't a physical team. I said, bull crap. Just because we lost doesn't mean we're not a physical team. And you go against the Jets, who had the number 2 ranked defense. And if it wasn't for all the penalties, we probably would have won by over 2 scores. The offense dominated them. Ray Davis, 90 yards rushing. We had over 100 yards, maybe 140 yards on the ground. Josh threw for over 200. So we really did whatever we wanted. And again, it was props to the O-line. And just absolutely outstanding performance.
Yeah, Alpha Rob, good to see you out there. Thanks for joining us on this Victory Monday night. Trey out there, yeah, they covered the spread, like 3 points, right? They're favored by 2.5.
Well, it was 2.5, and then it did dip to 1. So whether you bet it earlier, you covered. So
yeah, when I said bet it, take the money line, whatever, I said it was early, it was 2.5. So good stuff there. Alpha Rob, why they don't throw the ball to Knox and Kincaid down the middle more is, yes, shocking to me. I was saying that, like, why is Matt Collins our main guy on that? It's like Kincaid should be in that slot, running that seam route and throwing it to him. And then, they should, that 12 personnel, you got those 2 beautiful, beautiful tight ends, use them more. We saw Knox get into the game, and what a play from Josh to Knox for the touchdown. Fantastic. Alpha Rob, is Alpha Rob new? I don't know if I've seen Alpha Rob before out here.
He's been around.
You've been around, Alpha Rob?
Yep.
All right, good to see you again. Like that, hit that, smash that like button on your way in. This is a celebration. Monday night, huge win. Bills are now 2 games up in the 8, a little over 2 games. Like Sean likes to say, 2.5, because we got that tiebreaker. So big win. Back to you, Jake. Back to you.
Yeah, enormous win. Weston, I'll echo what you said there, brother. I poured myself a nice big glass of bourbon after that one. Got a little old fashioned going right now. And I mean, I'm just, I'm sitting there, and here's the issue too. I'm holding my baby boy, right? I got him fast asleep, but it's hard to contain the emotion when you're watching this team at all times, right? You can't just ever have a game where it's like just a nice, easygoing victory. It almost looked like it was going to be that way when it was 20-10.
Yeah.
But you got to make it a little interesting. Listen, the Jets play hard. That's a good football team. I know they're 2-4 right now, but they're close, and I think they're better off right now with Jeff Ulbrich as the new head coach. Got to give them a lot of credit. A-Rod, phenomenal game from him. But let me tell you something. JA-17 came to play tonight, and I don't care what the refs, what type of say they had in this game. He wanted to make sure he was winning that football game, and at the end, it almost looked like maybe he was going to throw a swing to a running back on that play, but instead he just took it himself. And I love putting the ball into your playmaker's hands, and he did the right thing by doing so. So absolutely love to see it. Yeah, absolutely. Horrible sack call. This is a football game. This is not tummy sticks out there. All right. I mean, I don't know what more you can do in that situation. There are some plays. There are some of those roughing the passers where it's like, okay, evidently this guy tried to do a little more with his body weight. But in that case, Epinesa, I think if anything, they were saying maybe he was trying to go for the ball or something, but there was nothing wrong with that sack play. I cannot believe they flagged it. There were a few makeup calls throughout the game as well to sort of even it out. Both teams, I think, did finish with 11 penalties and almost went the entire length of the field. The Bills, I think they went 94 yards on penalties, and then the Jets had over 100 yards. So they did go the length of the field and then some. So just insane.
Those were just accepted ones, too. There was
exactly.
There was way more.
A lot of offset ones, too. Yeah.
And this defensive line, they did this without Ed and Von. And, it sucks that AJ's game got ruined because of that. That would have been 2 sacks, and that would have been a big 4. They got 3 points off of that, I believe, or no, they didn't. But regardless, they drove down the field after that, and that could have changed the game. Just like the stupid, you give up a Hail Mary when you're up 2 scores. And but yeah, this D line did a great job, and I love seeing Epinesa ball out because he went against one of the best left tackles ever play football. So in the recent memory. So fantastic job. His quickness, that's the skill set. So love to see that from him. And all we heard in the offseason was the Jets are a Super Bowl team. And I know you said they're better than the record says they are, but you got to defend your turf. You're playing a team that lost 2 games in a row, and you lost. So it was just the better team won.
To give you the totals on the penalties, Bills were penalized, accepted penalties 11 times for 94 yards, and
Jeez.
Jets 11 times for 110 yards. But I wish I had a little Slim Shady in me to break out and rap, because Taylor Rapp was fantastic. Good to have him back. Oh my goodness. Couple big hits. Fantastic play by him. So anyhow, good to have him back. And offensively, both teams rushed the ball pretty well. They really did. If you looked at the stat line, Bills rushed the ball 33 times, 149 total yards for an average of 4.5. Ray Davis. Let's talk about Ray Davis a little bit, dude. Comes in. It was interesting because I thought Ty Johnson would get most of the carries. He gets the start, has a nice 10-yard run, and then you see Ray Davis most of the game. And how about Ray Davis on that beautiful Josh Allen roll to the right? Bills Mafia delight. Throws the ball, and Ray Davis brings it in, Jake. Incredible.
Mike, I think you're really avoiding the whole root of this too. Like, you talk about Ty Johnson versus Ray Davis. So you pick up Ty Johnson in our fantasy league and you start him, and our game is close. I think it's within 6 points to start the night off, right?
Yeah.
And I put Ray Davis in, and I came out with a victory, I believe. So.
Oh, you're talking about that other league.
I'm talking about
money.
Right,
yeah,
right.
You can have that one. I was more worried about my money leagues. By the way, let me get the final here. Oh man, I didn't get I beat Trey in best ball. Trey, my best win of the season.
There you go.
Did you guys, real quickly, best ball? You know, they have this thing. I looked at my record last night. I'm 2-8. I'm like, Chris, how can I be 2-8? We're only 6 teams into the season. He says, oh yeah, like Jeremy, there's this, if you beat the median or lose to the median, which is 99 points, you get a loss. I'm 2-8. I'm like, dude, I was scammed. $20 out the door. But anyhow, I got the win against Trey tonight. Let's go. But yeah, back to the game here. Josh Allen, 19 of 25, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 2 times for 5 yards. Passer rating of 127.9. That's where we want to see Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers, he also a good game. 23 of 35, 294, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception though. And what about our guy, Taron Johnson, returning? Bernard returns last week. He has a big interception. Gave us an opportunity to win, but TJ returns, and that was a fantastic play. I mean, very difficult interception, makes the play. But Aaron Rodgers was sacked 3 times. Nice. Should have been 4. AJ gets ripped off, like we said already. His passer rating was 99. So, and they rushed the ball 21 times for 121 yards, and they averaged 5.8. So both teams were running the ball extremely, extremely well. But Sean, the O-line, they gave Allen time. I know the Jets are probably one of the worst defenses we ever face, right? They're always giving us a hard time. But I felt comfortable on any drop back. They were giving Josh time.
Yeah. I don't recall 2 sacks. All I remember is the one where Josh tried to run it up the middle and Quinnen Williams got him at the line of scrimmage. I don't really count that as a sack because it was kind of a designed run, I feel like. But yeah, and this is how the game was going in week 1 last year. The offensive line was giving Josh time. We were doing the intermediate 10 to 15 yard passes, running the football. It was working. And then Josh decided to just chuck the ball downfield 50, 60, 70 yards, throw picks, and then we lost the football game. So again, that was week 1 last year, and that's how I watched that game, and I was like, man, this O-line is going to be for real. And you know, they've been pleasantly surprised since week 1 and getting better each week. And hopefully by now, I don't have to go to every platform and hear Josh didn't have enough time. He was running for his life. The O-line didn't do their job, because they have been. And you know, it's frustrating because you guys know I'm unbiased when I do my review. So if they do a bad job, I say it. But just to hear, oh, they did horrible, they did this, when it's just a little bit decision making for Josh, could have changed that the last 2 games. And but yeah, again, they bullied him in the run game, gave him tons of time in the pass game. Yeah, sure, a couple guys broke through once in a while, but that's going to happen to every team, the Lions, the Eagles, everybody. So yeah, again, another A+ day for them, and it was fun to watch.
You know who was at MetLife tonight, Jake? Randy and Jackson. Remember those 2 guys?
Were they really?
They were at MetLife. Randy was sending me pictures. Didn't have enough time to show some of those, but he had good seats. Feel bad for him traveling to MetLife and they get the loss.
That's a long way.
Good for us, But yeah, it was good that he was able to.
I do want to say quick.
Yeah.
What I am upset about the O-line is all the penalties they accrued.
Mhm.
I want to say there was probably 4 or 5 for just them, and that's unacceptable. The Dawkins one was kind of BS because they didn't show the whole thing, but it looked like Quinnen Williams was the aggressor in the situation, and there should have been an offsetting penalty, and it was only on us, so I didn't like that. And the Spencer Brown play, definitely a little bit excessive, but at the end of the day, he pancaked someone and fell on top of him. That shouldn't have been a flag, but he had him and McDonald were going at it. McDonald didn't do anything in the game. Obviously, he got locked down just like everyone else did on the D line. But you can't let your emotions get to you. You can't, you saw what happened last year with Clemens and Dawkins. Clemens got in his feelings. They had a big penalty called on him, and it swings the game. So definitely got to knock off those penalties because they're drive killers. False start, illegal formation, you're 1st and 20. You can't be doing that. So as far as their play goes, they were outstanding. Penalty wise, they get a knock from me for that, of course.
Yeah, it was just keeping your emotions in check, right? You love to see a tough, gritty offensive line like that. And I don't think Spencer Brown was really in the wrong on that play where he pancaked and he just kind of laid on top of Will McDonald. Like, that happens every single play. But I think what led up to it was what made the ref ultimately throw the flag. They probably gave him a warning and said, hey, you're getting a little excessive. Like, you do it again, I'm going to flag you. So they had to stay with what they said they were going to do. So unfortunately, it came at a time where there were already a million other flags, and it just added up, and it, frustrating, right? But yeah, overall, I mean, O-line did great. They really neutralized a great defensive line. I mean, Will McDonald coming into this game had 6 sacks. He did technically get a registered sack tonight. I think it was just off of like one of those plays where Josh tried to run it up the middle or something like that. He didn't really.
Oh, was that the one when he fumbled, when he scrambled and tried to throw the ball?
That might have been it. Yeah, I think that was yes. Which was the one bad play by Josh where he just fumbled the football, but he's trying to make a play, so you can't really hate him too much. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say, in that situation, you either got to just throw it or get down. Like that could have been bad.
Could have been bad.
So, that's what I mean. Like, decision making is important. And before we get back into football, can we just talk about how much Troy Aikman hates Buffalo? I don't know why. I don't know if it's because, but Josh Allen should have 8 interceptions by now. That they dropped all of them.
I was gonna.
Josh Allen's led the league in touchdowns since 2019. Troy, how do you feel about that? I'm gonna keep my comments to myself. Like, do you hate Buffalo so much because
I didn't catch that one? That's terrible.
Because Allen already has more touchdowns than you did in your entire career. Is that why you don't like him or something? I just don't. I don't understand what the hate was. And then before the game, he was like, well, the way Josh Allen's been is what he's always been. And I'm just like, so you're saying he's been I don't understand what you mean. Are you saying he's trash because the last 2 weeks? But yeah, I just hate Joe Buck and Aikman anyway. They got people. They said Balin Spector was making a tackle when it was Dwayne Smoot. Like, you don't even know what you're saying. Like, Monday Night Football is absolutely the worst. I'm so glad we don't play on Monday night anymore. But yeah, they're just horrible.
Well, okay. Maybe you said a couple of those things. I agree with you. I was going to say that right before you did. I'm like, they're talking about, Josh Allen has 0 interceptions, but he's thrown many that should have been, right? You said that, but so has many quarterbacks. I mean, Pat Mahomes has 6 right now. He probably could have 8 or 9 or 10 if, every quarterback throws something that could have been picked up. He did say he did not like the AJ Epinesa call. So Buffalo is very well on that one. And he also said and let's talk about it here. I've had it up on the board here for a little bit from RX Flyfish, and should have been a fumble on Rodgers. He also said he agreed with that one. I mean, you could see Rodgers was going to tuck that thing. He was not wanting to throw it. But unfortunately, the arm's going forward. I guess I could see it going either way. But anyhow, good stuff there. And let's see here. Let me catch up with all the chat real quick. Weston, horrible pass interference call on both sides. Yeah, I thought overall the penalties evened out. Although the AJ Epinesa one was a huge one, and but I felt they evened out over time there. And
there was a couple on both sides that were legit, but then I felt like a lot of them were just like, really? Like, I don't know about that.
I think they were trying to even it out at one point because it was like significantly Bills to Jets. It was like 10-5, and then they're like, all right, we got to bring these penalties back up. So
I agree with you there. Trey, Alpha Rob says, rep played well. Yep. Breakdown. Give me again. I wish I could rap. Let's get Slim Shady on here. Ray Davis has the most single game scrimmage yards as a rookie,
Love
152 yards. I also think they put up a stat that he was the second running back to have 50 yards receiving and 50 yards rushing in the first half. Only second player to do that. Pretty cool.
Alvin Kamara was the other. Yep.
Oh, was it? All right. Awesome.
Yeah. Pretty good company.
So time to wave the white flag on Bass. I mean, their kicker missed too. The win was apparently an issue, but you could see that Bass's was wide right from the get-go. And just, it's so bad when can you not hook it? If you're going to miss, don't go wide right. It just brings back too many bad memories. But, and then the extra point. Was that just a bad snap or was that just a bad kick?
It was blocked. Kinlaw got his hand on it.
Yeah. So
but I think the reason why it was blocked is because he was trying to drive it. So the kick was ultimately lower and then Kinlaw got a hand on it. But it looked, optics were awful on it. I mean, it did not look good. Plain and simple. Yeah, ugly.
Yeah, like you said, Jake, he's trying to play the wind, but then you kick it too low and then these guys jump up in the air and you get blocked. So that one, again, it's on. I feel like it was 50-50. And then the miss, I mean, it was 47 yards with the wind. I mean, Greg Zuerlein, I don't think he's ever missed the last 3 years inside 40, and he missed twice. So, I mean,
he was even laughing about it because he's like, I can't even believe it. The way that thing just hooked was wild. Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. But again, I know I said it earlier, he's going to have his best year. I'm still hanging on. But, I guess blocked kicks do count against the kicker as a miss. So, another extra point miss, you don't want a game to come down to that. Because if you had that one extra point, it would have been 24-20. I mean, they were going for a touchdown anyway, don't get me wrong. But they have to play their game differently. So you don't want to miss those.
Yeah, Jorge saying, if you want to get to the next level, the McDermott experiment has to go. I'm not willing to talk about anyone losing their job after a victory, but I can see why you might be saying that, especially, giving up that touchdown before halftime. That was huge. And again, I just feel like we're cursed at MetLife, but we pulled it out somehow, some way. And I don't know if any of you guys want to comment on that. Feel free.
What, the Hail Mary or the fire in McDermott?
What Jorge is saying here. Right here.
Yeah, well, I get the idea because, again, like I said in the chat, that's counting the Justin Jefferson one. That's the third time that's happened to us in 4 years, and we still don't learn. Why are they going for a pick? I know you want to boost your stats up, but you give up a touchdown now, and you could have lost the game because of it. So if you bat it down, and they're not going to call a flag in the end zone on a Hail Mary, so you could punch the crap out of Allen Lazard in his throat, and they're not going to call nothing on you because. I mean, obviously, you're not going to do that, but you can be as physical as you want to be, and nobody's going to call anything. Because you saw Lazard push TJ over on the ground and then made the catch. You could do anything you want, hands-wise, in the end zone on a Hail Mary, and we're just like, oh, let's all try to get a pick. You had 6 guys on one guy, and you couldn't stop him. That was a better catch than the D-Hop one because there was more people around him. And again, and then McDermott says, oh, we were playing the sideline. No, tell you guys, well, they screwed up because they're supposed to tip the ball, knock it down, not try to go for a pick. But we did learn our lesson with running the ball when we need a first down to end the game. And so I was wondering what we would see there. So yeah, let's see. We got a nice stretch of winnable games going forward, and let's see how McDermott does in those, and hopefully he can learn from those mistakes.
Yeah, Trey says O-line was great, but Spencer Brown was riding that line, though I really appreciate his pancakes. Yeah, these two teams do not like one another. The fact that Dawkins got into it when they were, in between quarters was crazy. When we come back from, the commercial and there's a flag thrown, like, oh my God, what is these guys? But, Dawkins has made it clear he just does not like the Jets whatsoever. I'm not sure if it's a certain player or just the whole freaking team, the whole defensive line.
He couldn't even have congratulations after the game. They made him leave.
He was out of there.
Really?
Which is smart because you don't want to lose any of your guys because of a physical altercation or anything like that. So,
that was smart.
It was smart. And, I love that they hate each other because that's how it should be. And, now Josh Allen is 8-3 versus the Jets. They say 8-4, but if you remember that one of the losses was they played one drive in 2019, the last week of the year, and then they took the starters out to rest them for the playoffs, and then Matt Barkley lost the football game.
Duke Williams had a monster day,
so he gets the loss. So technically, Josh is 8-3 versus the Jets. So I don't know where they got. Oh, we own Allen. You know, he can't play in MetLife. So just wanted to throw that out there again because they like to say, "Oh, we own him," but yeah, you know.
Alpha Rob, Aikman kept bringing up turnovers for no reason. Agree with you there. Chad the Chief, good to see you out there, sir. He says I can't stand Buck and Aikman either. And well, first of all, there's multiple reasons not to like Aikman. First of all, he beat us in 2 of those Super Bowls. The final 2 Super Bowls the Bills were in. And but you know what? I don't think he was too bad tonight. I'm just saying. The extra point Trey says was tipped, but it was shanked a bit prior to the tip. Alpha Rob, why does McDermott overthink with seconds left? Yeah, good question there. Good question.
Very good question. And as a defensive-minded head coach, too, it seems like it's always when we're on defense that situationally he fails time in and time out. Yeah. I agree with you, Jorge. It's frustrating. You know, I think a lot of people at the end of the half were just like, have you learned anything from 13 seconds? Well, you did the exact same thing protecting the sideline, and look where it got you. I understand the reasoning in that moment to protect the sidelines because you don't want to let up 3, but 3 is much better than 7. So,
but here's the thing too, like, and Mike brings it up constantly when we talk too, is like it never works when you only rush 1 or 2 guys. Like you're never going to get home. But if you bring 4 and drop 7 in any situation, you have a chance to rush the throw, rush the timing, rush the thought process. So if you just got Rodgers standing back there like this, then like obviously they're going to make a play. We did the same thing with CJ Stroud. If you play, they're not going for a touchdown, and we had 2 safeties 40 yards back. They're not going for a touchdown. They're going for a field goal because that's all they need to win the football game. So if you had the guys play up and you had 4 rushing instead of 1, then you maybe you could have got a tip pass, interception. You could have got a sack. You could have got anything. But we're just like, let's drop 9 in the backfield or in the end zone, rush 2 guys against 7 blockers, and then still give up the big play. Like that's things that have to change. And I don't get like so many times of it not working. Why don't you just run a normal freaking defense? Like just run a normal play because we were getting to Rodgers all day. Like what would have been wrong?
D-line was eating. Yeah.
Yeah. What would have been wrong with rushing 4 and maybe even getting to Rodgers and getting him down? Like, I don't know. I don't never understand that.
As bad as those plays are, though, I mean, the defense, especially over the last 2 weeks, have come up with plays, big plays. And so it's crazy how something like that right before half with seconds left, but then the team just makes a play when they need to. That Taron Johnson play, you know, again, he's been taking a team was injured and defense, and they were getting healthy today, which is great. Good to see our guy back, Taron Johnson, and Bernard there. Bernard made some amazing tackles as well. But again, got to give him credit for the defense have done a solid job. They really have.
Especially in the second half.
Minus those those moments like really how. But again, I mean, a 50, I mean, it's a pretty much a 50-50 ball, maybe not if you throw it properly, like with Aaron Rodgers being the best at it. You know he was going to put it right where it needed to be. And again, rush 4, drop 7. Anyhow, let's go on here. Like Madden said, the game is simple. Sometimes the coaches make it difficult.
Yeah.
Congrats, guys, from Goku1. He says, Allen is nails. How defenses don't key on Allen running with the game on the line and short yardage, I'll never know. That defensive end was totally fooled. Yeah, it was a beautiful play call for sure. It was like they had actually been spying Josh Allen pretty decent. Thought they did a decent job in this game. Allen made a couple big plays with his feet when he had to, but they're definitely keeping an eye on Allen out there. There's a spy now. We've seen that. And because we don't have that deep threat, they're doing that more and more. But yeah, beautiful play. Beautiful play. And the D end looked like he was going to hold his ground, but he's like, no, I'm not going to.
He wasn't quick enough.
Yeah, great job.
Real quick, Mike, just to Zebel's point, he's saying we're talking like we lost. We were just responding to someone else's comment asking about McDermott. So we were just talking about, some of the decision making. But But I think
Ian, there's no negativity here. Come on, buddy. What's going on? We're extremely happy with the win. What are you talking about?
yeah, I think
We're
one
just
thing we got to
answering
talk.
some questions out there in the thread.
I think he was responding to the other comments. Yeah,
Oh,
dude, great
okay.
to see you. Ian was over earlier today, and we
Yeah,
were
we
playing a
love
little
you,
CFB 25. It was incredible. But yeah, you're right. Absolutely, we're fired up about it. This is as clean of an offensive win too,
Yeah,
as there's been in 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
you gotta love it, especially against a great defense like the Jets. Hell of a job.
And that's the fourth game out of 6 where Allen's in complete control and actually going through progressions, making the correct choices. Obviously, minus that one play, but you're gonna have a bad play here and there. So I was very, very glad he bounced back in a big way against a big team that has a great defense. But that Ron Johnson play, man, like I don't think anyone could. That's probably like the most difficult pick that we're gonna see all year. And he did such a great job. He split the 2 receivers running down the seam, and then he made that split-second turnaround to get there. And not only did he get there, but he was able to tuck the ball, and he curled onto his head, so the ball didn't touch the ground, so it would be called a dropped interception. So that was just it's such a quick thing too. That was extremely impressive. That's probably a play of the year so far, the offense or defense. That was insane.
Yes,
sure.
Z-Bell, you know how you have a good O-line when you can have James Cook on the sideline, Ray Davis come in and go off both him and Ty Johnson. I mean, the O-line dominated, and that's good to know. That's good to see. Like we didn't miss a beat. I didn't miss James tonight. It wouldn't have been nice to have him, but man, Ray Davis just went off.
It made me think, like, imagine if we had Cook. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little worrisome about Ray Davis because I've seen, maybe just because he didn't get a lot of carries, but it seemed like he lacked a lot of vision the first few games. And I was like, man, I don't know if I like this. But minus, like, I think out of his 20 carries, maybe one of them, he ran into a block. Other than that, he was just, the holes were there, and he was riding them, the entire night, and did absolutely amazing.
Just absorbs contact too, like really, really good after contact. Super impressive.
Very, exciting too, because he was one of our young third round rookie acquisitions, and now he's balling out. And obviously, it's one game, but it made you feel good that you lost one of your best offensive weapons, and he can go in there and produce like he was. Like Cook, he basically did a James Cook game. 50 yards receiving, 90 yards rushing. Like, man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. So when Ray Davis made that nice, beautiful catch, deep throw from Josh Allen, like he's running and you can see him holding his hand, but I got the feeling like, he's not going to throw to me. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, shoot, that's Josh Allen rolling to the right. Something's going to happen. And he throws them the ball. And just incredible. So, yeah, love it. Let's see here. Z-Bell.
That's what I was saying too earlier, Ian. It's like, obviously we don't overlook people, but you got Titans, Seahawks, who lost 3 straight, Dolphins with Tua's first game being back because he's not playing this week coming up, and then you got the Colts. Obviously, they have Jonathan Taylor and Joe Flacco, but those are 4 games that you should absolutely win, and I think 3 of them are at home. No, 2 of them are at home.
Actually, 2 of them are at home.
Yeah, 2 of them are at home. So I'll even give one. If you lose one of those, you're 7-3. You're going into the Chiefs game 7-3. You're looking pretty damn good. But these are all winnable games as long as you play like you did, obviously minus the penalties. But none of those defenses are going to be better than the Jets defense. So I'm excited. Obviously, we got to put the games out there and win them, but that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Ian, if you want to jump on, we'll drop you the.
Hop in,
link,
baby.
Buddy.
Let's go.
Up for it. It sounds like you're excited to talk about it. We love having you on our show always. So, hey, we'll drop you the link. Anyone want to come on and talk on victory?
We're all the Jet fans. I was expecting a lot of Jet fans.
I was hoping Anthony would join.
Where's Anthony? Where's the other thing? Oh, man. We're going to hear about that on the AFC East.
Yeah. It's going to be if, Reed went out at the end of the fourth quarter. That's why they lost. Or, what was the other? All the flags, whatever. So we'll be ready for that. But maybe next time, man.
Crazy because I think when both those guys were in the game, it was 20-10. So
yeah,
I don't know. They seemed to play better after they were out of the game for whatever reason.
He did predict 13-4, so it looks like they're going to go on a 11-game win streak to end the season. So
there it is.
Let's see.
Love it. So guys, I mean, just I'll throw it to you, Sean. What else you want to talk about here? Because it's just all good. I mean, not all good. The penalties were frustrating, but like we said, I mean, for the most part, the Bills were in control of this game. Short of that miraculous, Hail Mary before half, that changed the game big time. Where the Bills were about to blow them out, it was 20-10. Get the ball at half, go down, score. This game probably over. But you change the momentum with that, and then all the plays that were just sloppy with the flags left and right. But again, I don't want to blame the flags for us winning, us losing, because I feel like it evened out over time. It really did. There were some head scratchers on both sides of the ball. So love it. What do you want to talk about there, Sean? What else are we going to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very undisciplined, sloppy game, but it was nice that even on the road they rose above all that crap and they were able to get it done when it mattered most. That last play where Josh threw a dart to Matt Collins, I'm kind of with you on that one, Mike. Maybe that should have been Kincaid in that slot route in the seam, but they put Hollins there. They brought the engage 8 blitz. He threw a perfect pass and he just dropped it. But, we did enough to win, and he drove down the field in the fourth quarter, tie game. We went the length of the field and put up points. Probably should have been at 7, but we got 3 and won the football game. So that was a clutch moment for Josh to add to his repertoire. And I do love Matt Collins. He's not the best player in the world, obviously, but I love when he does well, and I love all his videos of maintenance stuff around the house. He's like, I'm a cleaner and I do laundry, for Airbnbs and stuff. And whenever I do fitted sheets, I just put it in a ball and put it in a container. And he actually taught how to fold the fitted sheet. So it's like this dude is just very charismatic and he's a fun guy to root for. So it would have been nice to have 2 touchdowns for him. But, I think at the end of the day, these guys, made the plays that were necessary to win, and a lot to clean up. But, we got another short week, so that's a little bit, unfortunate. But I think we got good momentum going into this next stretch of games.
Yeah, Chad, fortunately, that's like 5 weeks down the line before we got to get ready. It's going to be right before our bye week. So it's going to be, you guys are going to be a little tired. You're coming off your bye this week. You're going to have to play. Whereas the Bills know that they're going into their bye. So they're going to be fired up. Let's get the Chiefs and then go into the bye.
I love it.
Love Goku here. He's saying, see the Bills going 12-5, win in the East. By the way, it's go KU. Go KU.
Oh, we're going to have some fighting words in the chat here because Chad. So listen, you guys are both Chiefs fans. Go KU. However, Chad is a Mizzou fan. So there might be some back and forth on that. I love it, though. I love it.
Yeah, I'm tired of college football already. My Syracuse Orange beat 2 ranked teams and didn't get even like the high 20 ranking.
That? I agree, man. It's insane.
They beat Georgia Tech after they were ranked 22. They beat who was it? They were ranked like 24 a couple weeks ago. We beat them, and because we lost to Stanford, obviously they were a trash team. But man, it's annoying because I feel like we should have been at least in the high 20s.
Hey, let me go through the receiving stats for the Bills, and then we'll go through the defense as well. So receiving stats, we had Ray Davis, 3 receptions, 55 yards. Of course, he had that 42-yard nice throw from Josh, 3 targets. So 3 for 3. Dalton Kincaid had 7 targets, 6 receptions for 51 yards. Like to see that. I think they can utilize him even more. He should be that go-to guy. Curtis Samuel, 3 for 44. It was nice to see him get something positive this game. It's been a while. But Keon Coleman, 4 targets, 3 catches for 26 yards. Khalil Shakir. Seemed like they really limited Khalil. We knew he had a bad ankle coming in. It seemed like when they really needed something, I'd love to see how many snaps he had because I don't think he played much, honestly. He had 2 targets, 2 receptions for 19 yards. Dawson Knox had the huge touchdown from Josh Allen. Again, Josh Allen getting out of the pocket, finding Knox was a beautiful thing to see. 1 reception, 12 yards, and that touchdown. And Matt Collins had 2 targets, 1 reception for 8 yards. So overall, 19 receptions, 250 yards for the Bills, average 11.3 per reception. So good day for the receivers, especially over when you look back at the last couple of weeks. But was nice. Anything that stood out to you, Jake, from the receiver side of things?
Well, I want to pull in Ian real quick here. He did join. I sent
Oh,
him
he
the
did.
link.
All right, let's go, Ian.
Let's pull him on.
Let's go. Let me bring it on. There you go. Let's rearrange this. Let's rearrange this a little bit. Hold on. Give me a sec to make this look prettier here for sure.
So Ian was at a bar, Mike. So he wants to give us the whole breakdown
of the first-hand perspective.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
All right. So I wasn't expecting to be at a bar to watch the Bills game. You know, I was playing a gig out in downtown Buffalo, and I have to tell you, the energy in that place was absolutely electric. Every long shot down the field, every penalty was a big hype moment for everybody at the bar. So I try to keep my temperament low when stuff like that happens, you know, because a penalty can happen to everybody at any play at any time. So we try to keep it tempered. But I have to tell you, with the lack of weapons that Josh Allen had throughout the entire game, you have no James Cook, you have an injured Khalil Shakir, basically. I mean, he only had 2 receptions the entire game. I mean, to come out and put out a game like that was awesome. It was just absolutely unbelievable. And even with Tyler Bass missing a field goal halfway through, what a game. It was incredible. And to show that we can do all of that with really 0 weapons proves how dominant we are in that division. I mean, case in point, the guy is the second best quarterback in the league. Nobody can dispute that.
I hate that you're saying second best, but yeah, he is.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, it's who we have to deal with. But I mean, second best is not a bad thing.
Nope.
And people have to realize that if you put the pieces around him, he could be the best. But you know, when you have Matt Collins that you're throwing to and Curtis Samuel and off injured guys, But
so Ian,
awesome.
let me ask you, because you say the weapons are, you know, not there. Were you one of the folks that says we need to make a move, go get somebody now?
I'm a little worried about something like that, especially with cap issues. To me, it's more important to save the cap and invest in defense so that we can continue the Super Bowl window that everybody's talking about that's supposedly closing. You know, if you ask the mainstream media, you know, the Super Bowl window's closing and the defense isn't been able to keep together. I think it's more important to let Josh continue to work and gain chemistry with the guys that are already on the team, invest in defense next year. But just going out and making a big cap move like getting someone like Devontae Adams, I don't think would necessarily be worth it because that's a guy that's going to want a big contract in a year or two. And are we going to shell out for somebody like that if he does click with Josh? Probably not, especially with the pieces that are still missing in this team. So to me, probably not. No, I would say that that's not necessary, especially when it's so clear that the division is. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's locked up, but it feels pretty good. It feels pretty good.
Ian about so close to saying it's a lock. It's a lock.
It's not.
I love that, dude.
I will never sit here and say it's a lock, but it feels pretty good.
It does. It really does. But Jake, let's talk about Alpha Rob here. And Big L agrees with Alpha Rob. Why the Bills don't use Kincaid like the Lions use Laporte? What's going on there? I agree. I mean, coming into the season, we figured Dalton Kincaid would be that number 1 guy, have close to 100 targets. Hell, he got, how many did he have last year? Quite a bit, right? You would think he would have definitely progressed a little bit higher with the targets. But it just hasn't seemed to happen yet. And what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is a guy I said was going to catch 100 passes for 1,300 yards. Now I'm going to be sitting here probably eating crow at the end of the year, unfortunately. Hopefully with the Super Bowl ring, though, right? So it won't feel that bad. But I agree. You talk about the play today with Matt Collins in the end zone. Like, that should have been Dalton Kincaid. Why do we not run 12 personnel all the time and have Dalton Kincaid essentially be just a big slot receiver and have Dawson Knox act as that traditional tight end who puts his hand in the ground? There's so much you can do with that. I mean, I know Dawson Knox is like very 50-50 with catching the football at times, but when he makes these plays, they're always juice plays. It's either a touchdown or like a monster play where he trucks someone or, you know, just gives the offense some energy. Like, that is a guy that should be on the field compared to, you know, an MVS or a, you know, even a Matt Collins. I know I like Matt Collins a lot, but I'd rather have a guy like that on the field. So I don't understand whatsoever. It doesn't make much sense to me. And I hope we continue to get him more involved. He had 6 catches tonight, 51 yards. So it's getting better.
I did want to ask Big Al a question. It's good to see him because, you know, I don't know if we're going too late where he's in bed already. I don't feel like we see enough.
He's retired, Mike.
He's retired. So he should be able to stay up and watch the show. So Big L, let us know if we need to adjust the time. Let us know. That was Jake causing us to push to 10 p.m. Eastern, and of course this is late on a game. Big L said I couldn't sleep tonight. Had to get out. But good to see you, sir.
I get it too, though, Mike. But the Lions are a little bit different than us. They have multiple superstar players on their offense. Kincaid is our like number one guy. So if everyone's locking in on him and game planning around him, it's kind of hard to treat him like Laporta because you're not gonna cover Laporta like when you got Amon St. Brown and Jameson Williams to worry about the speedy guys that are very good receivers. So last year it worked better because you got a guy like Diggs that you got to pay attention to. So I think they're just kind of trying to figure out how to use Kincaid as like a guy who washes out plays to give other people the ball. And, eventually we get him open too. But I just think it's a little bit harder this year because he is that, not quite a superstar yet, but, our biggest, as far as pass catcher superstar goes in the making. So I think it's a little bit hard in the beginning, and I think it'll get better as the weeks go. But if we had an Amon St. Brown, it'd be pretty nice.
Yeah, when you watch the All 22 film, keep an eye out and let us know, Sean, if they are doubling him or taking him out of the plays, because I know you watch that film every Tuesday. I think it is tomorrow. You'll be breaking it down. What you guys think? Keon Coleman. I feel like they've been using him wrong along the sideline, going in with the slant, big physical dude, cut in the middle of the field. Try stopping that, and there it was. He made a nice
strong
play.
hands.
Very strong hands. Utilize them.
Yeah, I like how he went back to that play because that was the play where he got doinked in the head when he wasn't looking, and you went right back to that the next week. And that's a give me play. He got the slant and the leverage, and great hands, and he made a really good catch. So definitely want to see a little bit more. Obviously, you can't do it constantly, but that's a stick mover.
So Ian, since you're our guest joining us here, let's go to the defense and give them their flowers. Talk to us about the defense. Who shined for you tonight?
Boy, I will say, that defensive line absolutely owned the Jets' offensive line. It wasn't even close. It helps when you have a statue back there because, unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old. He can't move much, so it's very easy to get back to him. As long as you get him flustered, as long as you get him confused out of the pocket, it's easy to get to a guy like that. And he's had a lot of issues with chemistry when it comes to Garrett Wilson. So even though he was trying to feed Garrett Wilson a lot, and this was an issue with him last week where they were game planning around let's get Garrett Wilson the ball more. But they don't seem to be on the same page. Somebody brought up a good point. I'm trying to remember who it was. There's a YouTuber that I watch, JT O'Sullivan, who is a former quarterback in the league. And one of the things that they talk about is that Garrett Wilson is very similar to Chad Johnson, where he's a guy that he doesn't necessarily run the routes that you ask him to run, but he's a guy that can get open. And Aaron Rodgers is not that type of quarterback. He wants you to run 7 yards out, and he will get the ball to you on time perfectly at that 7-yard marker. But Garrett Wilson's not that type of receiver. He's the type of receiver that I'm going to shake my guy off and I'm going to get open. So that chemistry issue seems to, I think, plague the Jets quite a bit. And then when your backup option is Mike Williams, who's a pretty off-injured receiver, Ty Conklin was coming to this game also as a questionable target. And they just never got the running game going at all. Zero. That defensive line was the absolute star of the game. And obviously,
they got a couple big hitters, but other than that, you're right, though. We kind of did keep it in check outside of 2 big hitting runs.
And that Hail Mary play was obviously a fluky thing. You could say what you want about, Aaron Rodgers is great at Hail Mary plays, blah, blah, blah. The game shouldn't have been as close as it was, obviously. That's something we need to work on, clearly.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what an amazing interception by Taron Johnson to finish it off. I couldn't express to you how much that bar that I was at was freaking out. And I was sitting there going, no, the ball hit the ground. That's not a pick. Then I look back and go, wow, he really intercepted that ball. It was unbelievable.
Insane.
It really was.
So Garrett Wilson, he did have 8 receptions on 10 targets for 107 yards and a touchdown. Would have had a second touchdown if it wasn't for, I think it was Rapp and Hamlin who nailed him, right?
Yes.
Dude,
it was Taylor Rapp.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
right in the chest. It was
Rap had two big breakups in that game, and that was one of them. So Garrett, they had a pretty good game today. Lazard, of course, had a 6 for 114, one touchdown. Most of that came on that 52-yard Hail Mary. But back to the defensive side of things, Jake, let me throw it to you. Who shined in defense for you? We know Taron Johnson, obviously great to have him back, makes a big play his first week back. But who else shined for you?
I'm going to say Rasul Douglas. I mean, you talk about the D-line, you talk about Taylor Rapp, Rasul Douglas. There's a play that sticks out. You talk about Tyron Smith, how Epi did a pretty good job against Tyron Smith. Well, so did Rasul Douglas on a specific play where he should have been bulldozed. He kind of got out of the way, made beautiful. Tyron Smith look silly, and makes a huge tackle. He had a couple big tackles in this game, just open field textbook tackles, especially at the cornerback position when you're taking down a guy who's 220 pounds. Pretty damn impressive. So I was really impressed with his work in the run game today. At times, of course, you're going to have some moments where you get beat by Garrett Wilson, even Alan Lazard, and some of those were just fantastic throws by A-Rod, I got to say.
Yeah.
The one throw, it wasn't Rasul Douglas, but the one throw where Bernard is almost like chasing Lazard, and there is a sliver where that ball can get through.
It actually hit Bernard's hip, and it goes into his gut.
Right. So that's what we're dealing with, right? And Ian, you said that perfectly, because he is a guy where you run that route to 7 yards, not 6.99 yards, 7 yards on the dot. It'll be there because he is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in NFL history. That's just him. He is a spot thrower. He will get it there every single time. But if there's even just a small measure of error, you're doomed. And I feel like that's, that happened a few times today with the Jets. But it also happened to work in their favor a few times too. But yeah, I think Rasul Douglas is definitely a name for me that stuck out tonight. A lot of credit for
I'll throw it to you, Sean, but I did want to say, so I'm not sure, but according to ESPN, they did give AJ Epinesa 2 sacks. So that's
really?
Interesting. I don't know if he still gets credit on the sack when there's that penalty, maybe.
I'm not sure.
But
they might adjust it after the
stat correction.
He had 2. Daquan Jones got credited with 1. Pass deflections, 3 of them by Taylor Rapp. Fantastic. Taron Johnson with 1. Damar Hamlin with 1. And just a great, Rasul Douglas, like you said, 1 pass deflection. Yeah, so I'm gonna throw it to you, Sean. I don't want to take any of your guys, but who shined for you on that defense?
Well, definitely wasn't Christian Benford. That's guaranteed.
He had a tough day.
Benford did have a little rough.
Yeah, I know. Ian highlighted the D line, but yeah, like I said earlier in the beginning, Epinesa had a real good day where you needed someone to step up, and he made some big plays, used his speed, and got to Rodgers. And I just love when he gets to the quarterback, because he just this absolutely mauls you, and it makes me remember when he was 280 in college, doing that to quarterbacks. That's just a powerhouse, and still doing it with losing 50 pounds. Very impressive. And yeah, I mean, you guys hit on a lot of good people, and Epinesa would be the guy I single out. And again, you probably say anybody you want except for Benford and maybe Hamlin.
Yeah.
Let's see what Benford show up with on the stat line there. I don't even see him on the stat line.
He had the one questionable PI. I think he had 3 tackles.
Oh, there he is. Sorry. He had 4 tackles and 1 pass deflection. But yeah.
Let's keep in mind, this game was half a battle with the refs.
It was
crazy game with the refs. I mean, let the guys play, for goodness sake. I mean, oh goodness.
Such a good first half, 20-17 in the first half, and it was 3-3 in the second half. Crazy.
I don't know if the football is becoming similar to baseball, where you have to play to how the umps are, but
honestly,
it just seems like whoever the officiating crew is, you got to play to whoever they. But it was very clear from the beginning they were not going to let the guys play football. They were going to be very specific, and I actually kind of appreciated how the Bills took advantage of that. Where even on certain free plays, there was that one play I'm blanking on what it was, but Josh kind of threw it up there, and they immediately called pass interference on DJ Reed and set him up with a new fresh set of downs. Because he knew. I mean, the way that the officiating crew was calling that game, it was we'll get a pass interference call on this. Let's just lob it up there and just see what happens. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. They got 20 yards, fresh new set of downs, and they were in red zone territory. It was beautiful. I mean, they played that game to perfection.
You know who's really good at that, and I think it's a very underrated skill set as a receiver? Mike Evans. That dude sells is so well. I don't know if there's a receiver who has gotten more PI calls in his entire life than Mike Evans, but you're right. There was the play with Matt Collins. I think that one was offset, and then there was another play too where it did give us a fresh new set of downs, and it was enormous.
There was a play with DJ Reed. It was 3rd down, and there was already a flag. I don't remember what it was specifically. It was probably like a neutral zone infraction, but
12 men.
Yes. It was 12 men. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what it was. And Josh just decided, I'm going to just toss this up there. And DJ Reed, like an idiot, pushes the guy out of bounds. Very clear. And they're like, yeah, we'll give you 20 yards. It's great.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to go over some of the team stats. So time of possession was pretty even. Bills had the ball 29 minutes, 34 seconds versus the Jets having it for 30 minutes, 26 seconds. Third down efficiency, Buffalo was 5 and 11. Now that would have been a lot better, but we had some long third downs due to all those freaking penalties. Man. I'm sure the same that could be said about the Jets. They were just 4 of 12 on third down. Total plays, 60 for the Bills, 59 for the Jets. Total yards, 359 for the Bills, 393 for the Jets. So when you look at it statistically, pretty evenly matched game like the score says, but there were some real game changers in that because like Ian was saying, going in the half, we were at 20 up, 20-10. Going in the half with a 10-point lead, getting the ball out in the second half, you're like, this game could be over shortly. And then, of course, the Hail Mary. The Hail Marys.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah, on paper, it looks almost as even as it could possibly get, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the 22 penalties look disgusting, but even yardage-wise, it's 94 to 110. So pretty crazy. But, yeah. Yeah, good Trek reviewer, great to see you. It's been a little while. Listen, I think the last time we popped on a show and really talked about you was when Cam Lewis did have a good game. But yeah, interesting. I didn't see him even out on the field. Was he just inactive? He wasn't inactive.
No, he was on the sideline. He was suited up. He was active. And I don't know if I saw him in any place. No.
Well, I mean, Taron Johnson was
back, right?
Safeties he's
the backup for TJ, and Rapp was out there back. So you probably saw him. I think I did see him on special teams.
Yep.
So it is interesting. This is a good point. And I think you were saying this, Sean, in our group chat. You're surprised they activated Gore and did not use him, not even one handoff to him. But why would you when the other guys were doing just fine? And, you don't want to bring in a practice squad guy and have him fumble the ball late in the game or something. You got to have those guys you truly, truly trust.
Yeah, and Ty Johnson ended up going 4 for 34. So, he covered that third down back role and relief back role pretty well.
I thought, like you said, I don't know. It felt like he was going to be the lead back, but he really wasn't. He started the game, and he had a 10-yard run. I'm like, okay, here we go. And then Ray Davis comes and just kills it. And so it was interesting, but good to show that you have a great O-line that can make anybody run the ball extremely well. So
yeah. So I like what my dad says here. Yeah. We talked about this. He called me. He was pissed.
Yeah.
Like fuming. And he was going on and on about this. And I understand why. I mean, yeah, it's frustrating because the Patriots used to do this all the time. They used to put Gronk in the back of the end zone, right? When they would defend a Hail Mary. Get your tallest player out there, especially a guy like Keon Coleman who has that basketball background. Just get a guy to smack it down. But McDermott's excuse to that was he was, trying to defend the sideline. He didn't want them to have 3. He didn't even think a Hail Mary was a possibility, probably. I mean, he probably thought it was a possibility, but didn't think it was going to – the chances of it happening are low, but you got to remember it's A-Rod who's thrown 3 other Hail Marys in his career. So
there are 8 seconds left, and he's worried about the sideline. I don't know.
Oh, I know. It is frustrating. I will say that was a moment where it's like I'm not good with this excuse. I hate it. Yeah.
So I didn't hear the press. So what press conference did you catch? Caught McDermott.
Just at halftime. Yeah, just at halftime.
Just at halftime. Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the road ahead looks good. Nothing's easy in the NFL these days, so I'm not going to overlook any of those teams that we have upcoming. We just talked about them a little earlier. Winnable games. So this was huge. Get a big 2-game lead, actually a little more than 2-game when you consider we have the tiebreaker on both the Dolphins and the Jets now. And things look good, man. I want to go around. I mean, we've been almost coming up on an hour, and we can talk for hours and hours if the chat wanted to, but I want to kind of go around and give out game balls today. I purchased a few extra, and I've been storing them. So 2
Yeah.
game balls, a person. Let's start with Sean to go first. Who's your 2 game balls going to, sir?
2? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the O-line, of course, and Ray Davis.
Nice.
Okay, I didn't have 5 extra balls laying around, but you want to give it
They
to
get
the
one
whole
as a unit together.
Okay,
They get to trade on weekends.
O-line.
That is your unit. You lay down and die for that unit every week, Sean. For you, that's right. Give him the train noise. Yep. Take a bow. Take a bow.
All right.
That's a great defensive line. That's a great defensive line, and that the O line tonight bullied that D line.
Sure did. Who else did you give it to? O-line and who?
Ray Davis.
Ray Davis. Yes, love that. They kind of told his story as well on the broadcast, which was pretty cool. Kid was homeless at one time. So great story there. Ian, your 2 game balls, sir.
Well, I hate to be cliche, but the fact that Josh Allen got through a game without committing a turnover is excellent, especially with again, keep in mind who we're throwing to here. You got no James Cook, you got an injured Khalil Shakir, and he went 19 for 25. That's fantastic, especially against the Jets defense that is touted as one of the best defenses in the league, and everybody talks about how good they're supposed to be. That's excellent for Josh Allen. And my other one is Taron Johnson. I mean, you seal the game with one of the best interceptions. I mean, I probably feel like I've seen this season. It was an incredible interception. Again, this is an interception. Now, maybe this is me a little tipsy at the bar, but seeing that interception from my side of the coin, being like, there's no way he picked that. That had to have hit the ground.
Right.
And you look at the replay and go, no, he absolutely intercepted that. And he knew it immediately, got up off the ground, celebrated. I loved that. It was a big team effort. Those 2 get my game balls.
I love that you said Josh. Obviously, somebody was going to say him. I thought it'd be Jake because, Josh Allen, doppelganger over here.
He's got a standee of him in the background. You would think that he would.
Yeah.
Boom,
And
baby.
so Josh had a passer rating. I said this earlier in the show of 127.9. But what is a better rating to me, which nobody really uses, they should, because it takes into account more things, is the QBR rating. And he had an 85.5. That is elite. That is elite right there.
That's really good.
So, Mr. Podger, who's your 2 game balls going to, sir?
I'm going to give it to the 2 guys that made Tyron Smith look a little silly today. 1, AJ Epinesa. 2, Rasul Douglas. There's the 1 play, right? But it was a huge play, a significant play, and a great tackle by him. And I thought he was really, really good in the run game when he needed to be, especially with Christian Benford having a little bit of a down game. I think Rasul Douglas kind of made up for it. And, man, pay the man. He deserves it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Stat line doesn't look great, but he got the huge touchdown, and we want to see more of him. And that's Dawson Knox. 1 game ball going to him for me.
Nice.
He had 1 target, 1 catch. He did have that pass interference called against him. Come on, Dawson, clean that up. But let's start utilizing him more. Those 2 tight ends that we have are 2 of the best in the league. We just haven't seemed to use them as much as we should be. I could say Cam Lewis because he did have a stat. He did have a tackle.
Okay.
And he was on the sideline really cheering on his team. But no, that's just for you, Trek Review. I'm not going to give him the game ball. Of course not. But let's see here. You guys taking all the good ones. I'm going to go with Terrell Bernard again. Back for his 2nd week. I thought he made some huge plays, especially against the run. And again, he was defending that throw to Lazard. Don't know how that thing got in there because even though he had his back to him, there was no window for that ball to get in there. Rodgers just put it. I don't even think that Lazard saw it. It just hit Bernard's hip and then lands in his gut. It's like sticks to his gut.
Crazy.
He definitely did not see that. He definitely did not.
Oh yeah, Trek Reviewer, I agree with you. We all agree with you. We did not like that flag on AJ.
Even Rodgers said it too. Well, he was shaking his head and
during
the game, during the play, and then my buddy just sent me his post game press conference, and he said, "Yeah, that was a bogus call on the roughing the passer, and the whole game was ridiculous for flags." So at least he's on. I mean, he played football where they used to take the quarterback's head off. So
yeah,
he knows what's a real roughing the passer and not.
Yeah. So 8 game balls given out today. Beautiful game, huge win. Man, it was a nail biter for sure. Shouldn't have been a nail biter, but it was typical Bills fashion. They like to give us those. But I'm going to go around the horn here for some closing thoughts, and we'll end this game so we can all finish celebrating. It's still early here. It's only 9:53 on the West Coast. We still got time to celebrate. Jonah and I will probably be making a run to get something fun for us, some ice cream or something. I don't know. But Jake, talk to us. Closing thoughts, my friend.
Yeah, just what a way to rebound from last week. Same score, just different result, and a much better result. Makes the week go by so much better. You feel good, especially with the loss to the Jets. If we lost 3 straight and then we lost this game the way that it looked like it was going to happen at one point, it would have really hurt and it would have really stung. It would have made this show a lot harder to do too. So, just really, really happy with how the guys responded. And listen, the defense shows up in the second half, plain and simple. They're bend, don't break. They do what they have to do. And JA-17 always seems to put the cape on when we need him most. So absolutely love to see it. Great response from Josh. And this team they're going places. They're 4-2. Now we have an 85% chance, I believe, to make the playoffs according to the ESPN
I saw
metrics.
that. Yeah, I saw that.
I love it. I'll take it. Tennessee. Tennessee. Yeah.
By the way, I was just looking in the Discord. Our Discord's free to join. I'll drop the link in the description of the show. Ian, I'm not sure why you're not out there. You should be out there. You always
Ian is on. Ian's a big Discord guy.
Or where's he not? I never see him in our never see him in any of our threads.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm in like 20 Discords.
He's in a lot.
I can't.
You need to drop just
I'm
one. I'm
moving it up right now in my list.
Just drop one of them and join ours.
Oh, of course.
But I was looking because I wanted to see what Anthony was saying, and Anthony's last comment was when Tyler Bass missed the field goal. He just says Tyler Bass, but he was quiet the rest of the Discord.
Quiet as a church mouse.
Very, very quiet. But let me throw it to you, Ian, for your closing thoughts on this game.
Sure. Well, Mike, let me just say thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Of course.
I agree wholeheartedly with Jake. This is a great win, especially where we're entering a part of our schedule that a lot of people would say is like maybe our easy part of the schedule. I think Sean alluded to it. We got the Titans, they got the Seahawks who are lost 3 straight. They're obviously better than they're supposed to be at this point. You got the Dolphins with Tua's first game back, and then the Colts. This is supposed to be the easy part of the schedule, and to go into it with a win is so much sweeter than going into it at 3-3, where everybody's considering like, are the Bills really for real? That sort of issue is being drummed up in the media. This is a great spot for us. It gets us a chance to get healthier, especially with James Cook and Khalil Shakir. I don't think was quite himself this game. Only 2 catches and stuff like that. This is a great spot. I'm elated that we beat the Jets early. It's their first divisional win. It feels great. Well, second divisional win, we beat the Dolphins, but it feels great. We're in a good spot. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the future. This is going to be a good year.
Yes. Let's go. Before I throw it to Sean, he's going to close out the show tonight. I think he said he would do some type of dance. I hope he goes through with that. But I do want to say, if you're new to the channel, if you're not new to the channel, please smash that like button for us. If you're new to the channel, drop a nickel on the subscribe button. Share the podcast. We're getting near 2,000 subs, guys. We're a little over 100 away. I think we can get that in a relatively short time with the assistance of the folks out in the chat. So like, comment, share the pod. We love having all fan bases and especially all the support that you guys give us on a daily basis. So thank you so much. Sean, whatever dance it is, go for it. And then
I don't know where you got that from.
I don't know. Maybe I heard it. I thought. But anyhow, close it out.
Hey,
when
we beat the Chiefs, Sean, me and you will be here in person.
Oh boy,
yeah, we'll do some fun stuff. That's for sure.
I'm gonna throw you through a table.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Set up the table, Sean. Go ahead, close it out for us, my friend.
Yeah, massive win, 2-0 in the division. Again, we're going to a good stretch of winnable games where the expectation is to win. Obviously, anything can happen. It's football, but you have a great opportunity ahead of you. You guys know me as a humble guy. I don't usually talk crap to other teams, but the Jets is an exception because their fan base is just delusional and just
insufferable.
Insufferable. So I will be having a good week, going as many channels as I can and rubbing it in. And I did text Anthony, but again, I'm pretty sure he has me blocked, so I don't think he'll see it. But I will pop into the summit just to have a little word. But yeah, it was a great win. 3 road games in a row. It's difficult for any team, and we lost 2 of them. And the season could have took a bad turn, losing this game. And it's not the most hostile environment we've been in. Obviously, we went to Kansas City and won there multiple times, so I wasn't afraid of that. But to come out there and beat the refs, beat the Jets, you were beating yourself too, and then you rose above and won the football game. So very awesome. We're on a short week, but let's get ahead of Tennessee early, hopefully, and get some of the rookies in and rest up some of the starters.
Absolutely love it. So thank you everyone once again. Ian, thanks for jumping on. We should see more of you. You're always welcome.
Of course.
Come on a show with us anytime.
Please.
Jake, great to see you. Nice to have you from the start to the end this time.
I know.
It's been a while. You're a busy man. And Sean, maybe you can host them. I know Jake's a busy man these days. He's not able to do many summits.
Oh, so we need a Sean.
Why not have Sean on there hosting tomorrow?
We'll see. I'm still a little bit sick, so if I feel better.
All right. Well, you'll be invited. Anyhow, thank you all again out there in the channel. Couldn't do this without you. You make it a lot more fun for us. Thanks everyone here. We'll see you soon. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.